Hi everyone. I want to share with you a really embarrassing story to prove a point about kindness. So I had a completely different topic about 2 days ago, but luckily, or unluckily, you guys can decide after I tell the story, for me, I had a very interesting experience at my school's Admitted Students Day on Sunday. There haven't been many times in my life where I felt so vulnerable that I needed a lot of help from other people. Obviously, my parents took care of me as a child and still do, but for the most part, I try to figure out my own issues so that I don't have to bother other people. Yes, this is a weakness of mine because I tend to try and handle things on my own, even when it's not really that much of a bother to other people, but I'm trying to work on it. This was definitely a learning experience for me. Okay, here goes nothing. Sunday, April 8th, 2018 was single-handedly the worst and best day of my life combined. I was so excited to meet new friends and get to experience all that the campus had to offer, but my body had other ideas. Without getting into too much detail, the bottom line is I puked. In the middle of the student union, in front of everyone, 3 times. It's okay to laugh if you're laughing, which obviously I can hear. It's funny to me too. What kind of luck is that, you know? Okay, so let's just go over this again. I was feeling kind of gross after lunch, but hoped it would pass quickly. Next thing I knew, some amazingly kind woman named Katie was escorting me into a private room where I could clean myself up after that catastrophe. She was running around like crazy and came with a roll of paper towels, wet cloths, and bottles of water. My parents were obviously very concerned and doing their best to help me feel better, but all I could worry about was bothering her. In that instance, I felt so bad for taking up her time and thinking there were so many other things she could have been doing on an extremely busy day. There were like 2,000 people there, and yet she dropped everything and literally ran to my side. She told me that she has anxiety and that she throws up all the time. At the time, I was just grateful for someone who could relate to me, but it wasn't until later that I felt the full effects of what she had done for me. Think about this for a second. Some random girl throws up in the middle of the hallway. It's not everyone's first reaction to run to her side and make her feel less embarrassed by moving her to a private room and bringing her everything she needs. I publicly embarrassed myself in front of all of my future classmates, and Katie dropped everything to help me. I just can't tell you all how much her act of kindness made me feel better. I wrote her a thank you note for everything she did for me. I gave it to her when I went back for honors day, and her face lit up when I handed it to her. The connection that we now have just because of that one disgusting incident is, in my eyes, something way stronger than a normal faculty-student relationship, and I'm so grateful for that. I've only ever seen one other act of kindness that meant so much to me before, and that's when I received a thank you note from Mr. Howell last year when I simply picked up a piece of garbage off the floor and put it in the garbage can. I received the letter straight from his hands later that day, and it said that my character was such a significant part of his life. He didn't realize that anybody was going to do that. I always thought it was second nature to do little bits of good around, but apparently it was a rarity in his eyes. I was forever moved by his act of gratitude for my simple task. I now realize that Katie had the same intentions as me. She did what she thought was natural. While the circumstances are clearly drastically different, she did what she thought was right to better. She did what she thought was the right thing to better someone's life. And you bet I've learned enough from that extremely nice letter from Mr. Howell to write her a thank you and hand it straight to her. So, the bottom line of my story is, be kind. Do what you think is right, because it really may mean a lot to the person on the receiving end. Take advantage of the resources and relationships you have here at EA to better not just your life, but someone else's too. What I did last year made an impact on Mr. Howell's life, and what Katie did for me 2 days ago has forever changed me. So be kind to everyone. Help a friend in need. Help a stranger who just puked on the floor. I can tell you 100% that it will influence them more than you think. I can't thank this school enough for letting me grow up in a setting where I learned to be kind. My teachers, classmates, and especially the lower schoolers have taught me that kindness and gratitude don't have an age limit. I want to thank my family for raising me in an environment that allows me to feel safe and comfortable while I figure myself out, and that being kind to others never goes unnoticed. And lastly, I'd like to thank and introduce Jordan for being one of the kindest people I know. I hope you like his speech. Thank you.